Hello, everyone. Today we are going to discuss one of the greatest mysteries of the space age, the Moon. Although the moon landing was one of the greatest events in human history, there are still many questions that official science does not answer. What did the astronauts actually find during the Apollo missions? Did they discover strange structures, extraterrestrial artifacts, or even traces of ancient civilizations? The space race between the United States and the Soviet Union in the 60s of the last century ended in a resounding victory for NASA when the astronauts of the Apollo 11 mission set foot on the surface of the Moon in July 1962. For the world, it became a symbol of the triumph of the human mind and scientific achievement. But there are other stories that question the official versions of what actually happened during the Apollo missions. Many researchers believe that the Apollo 11 mission was not just a scientific mission, but part of a plan to hide the real findings on the Moon. This theory suggests that the astronauts discovered something much more important than just rocks and dust. In 2024, new reports emerged that the ruins of an unknown civilization could have been discovered on the back of the Moon, and that these findings were carefully concealed from the public. Some of the evidence for this comes from former NASA employees who have claimed in the past that images taken during the missions were retouched or altered to hide certain details. One of these informants, who asked to remain anonymous, stated that the original photographs of the Moon showed strange structures resembling ancient ruins or even bases that could not have been created by humans. This information has aroused the interest of researchers dealing with lunar anomalies. Some of them draw attention to the so-called natural formations on the back of the Moon that look too regular for natural objects. In particular, there are several images that show rectangular and triangular shapes that resemble the ruins of ancient structures. The most striking thing is that these structures are located on a surface that is not visible from Earth, which adds even more intrigue to the story. Moreover, some researchers suggest that humanity is not the first civilization to reach the Moon. According to this theory, a highly developed civilization or even alien visitors could have existed on the Moon as early as BC and left their marks on its surface. These ruins could be the remains of ancient cities or bases that were used for research or other mysterious purposes. One of the most intriguing details of this story is that NASA allegedly received additional images during the Apollo 12 and Apollo 14 missions. These photos showed mysterious structures located in darkened regions of the Moon where sunlight does not reach. There are also rumors that during the Apollo 17 mission, astronauts had direct contact with strange objects on the surface. However, this information was not made public. A former astronaut who left an anonymous comment stated, "What we found on the Moon could have changed the way humanity understands its history." But the NASA leadership decided not to talk about it. We saw structures that clearly could not have been created by nature. What were these ruins? Perhaps they were the remains of an ancient civilization that left its mark thousands of years ago, perhaps not even human. This statement sparked a new wave of interest in lunar missions, and scientists began to demand that NASA disclose more information about the back of the Moon. The government and space agencies have so far avoided commenting, explaining that all official data was made public decades ago, but rumors continue to spread. Theories about the ruins on the back of the Moon are confirmed not only in photographs but also in ancient texts. Some researchers believe that in ancient written sources of different cultures, you can find references to the Moon as the abode of the gods, or a place where events of an intergalactic scale took place. For example, ancient Sumerian and Indian texts mention celestial bodies inhabited by gods, and some suggest that these could be references to the Moon. Although there is no direct evidence to support the existence of such structures or contacts, many believe that governments around the world are hiding information that could fundamentally change our understanding of space and its impact on the development of human civilization. And while scientists continue to explore the Moon with the latest technology, the story of the mysterious ruins on the backside continues to excite the imagination of many. Did NASA astronauts really find something more than just lunar soil? And will we ever be able to find out the truth about what this silent satellite of the Earth is hiding? The moon has always attracted the attention of mankind with its secrets. And after the successful missions of the Apollo program, when astronauts set foot on its surface, many believed that the most important secrets of our satellite had been revealed. But have we really learned the whole truth about what happened during the lunar missions? There are theories that claim that some facts were hidden, and some data was even destroyed. Particularly noteworthy are the strange lights that astronauts observed on the lunar surface, and the mysterious disappearance of some of the Apollo mission records. It all started with the Apollo 11 mission, when astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin set foot on the moon for the first time in human history. However, there is one point in the official reports that has been a source of debate for years. During the lunar landing, the astronauts noticed strange flashes of light on the horizon that could not be explained by natural phenomena or technical features of the equipment. These flashes were so unusual that they were captured on video, but the official version explained them as glare from sunlight or cosmic rays hitting the cameras. However, later it turned out that these flashes were not only observed by the astronauts of the Apollo 11 mission. In other missions, including Apollo 12 and Apollo 14, astronauts also noticed strange light phenomena that had no scientific explanation. In an interview, a former NASA astronaut who wishes to remain anonymous said that the lights on the moon were constant and seemed to be controlled. He suggested that these phenomena could be a sign of the presence of unknown objects or technologies that did not belong to humanity. These unusual observations could not go unnoticed. And although NASA did not attach much importance to them, some scientists and researchers began to suggest that the moon might not just be an empty satellite of the Earth, but a place where events take place that humanity does not yet understand. Theories have emerged that there may be unknown bases or stations beneath the moon's surface that generate these lights. However, the most interesting thing happened later, when some of the records from the Apollo 11 mission were declared lost. In 2006, NASA admitted that the original video footage of the moon landing, including some footage from the surface, had been accidentally destroyed or overwritten. This caused a huge scandal, as it was one of the most important events in human history. How could such valuable materials disappear? Independent researchers began to argue that it was not just an accident. Some of them believed that some of the recordings could contain evidence of something that NASA did not want to show the world. Perhaps the video captured the same strange lights or even objects that could not be explained in terms of modern science. The loss of the recordings only added fuel to the fire of conspiracy theories. One such researcher, John Lear, who had previously worked as a pilot for the CIA, put forward his own theory that there was a hidden base on the moon, and that it could be the source of the strange light flashes. Lear argued that the governments of major countries have long known about the existence of such bases, but have been hiding it from the public. He also suggested that the Apollo 11 landing footage was altered or destroyed precisely to conceal the presence of these objects. Official science is skeptical of such claims. NASA has repeatedly attributed the loss of records to technical problems and assures that all important materials have been published. However, some former NASA employees confirm that the agency has a lot of data that is not available to the general public, including records of astronauts' talks where they discussed something unusual during missions. Another mystery is the data obtained during the Apollo 16 mission, when astronauts noticed strange objects on the moon moving at a speed that was unusual for natural phenomena. When viewing the images, you can see a shadow moving rapidly across the lunar surface, but this fact was not discussed publicly. Those who have seen the footage suggest that this could be evidence of the existence of non-human technology on the moon. As a result, more and more people are beginning to wonder, what is really happening on the moon? Can we trust all the information we are given? And what did the astronauts actually find during their missions? Despite the lack of official evidence, many conspiracy theories about the moon continue to exist. Some researchers suggest that NASA may have encountered extraterrestrial life forms or technology, and that some of the data was classified or destroyed because of this. Others believe that the lights on the moon are the result of an ancient or alien civilization that left its marks on the surface. Regardless of what is true, the light, missing records, and strange sightings during lunar missions continue to capture the imagination of many. Whatever actually happened on the moon, these stories make us think that we may not know everything about our closest space neighbor. When the astronauts of the Apollo 11 mission returned from the moon in July of 1969, the world celebrated one of the greatest victories of mankind, the successful landing on another space object. However, beyond this triumphant event, rumors began to spread that the astronauts had found something much more important on the moon than lunar soil and rock samples. For several decades, researchers and theorists have speculated that the moon may contain traces of highly advanced technology that does not belong to humanity. Some believe that these could be extraterrestrial technologies left behind by ancient civilizations or even alien visitors. Although NASA continues to deny any such discoveries, many facts remain unexplained and mysterious. One of these stories is related to the Apollo 17 mission, the last mission to the moon, which took place in 1972. The astronauts Eugene Cernan and Harrison Schmitt were conducting a routine surface survey, collecting soil and rock samples. But during one of their walks, they noticed a strange object that looked like a metal fragment, which did not look like a natural formation at all. Cernan, according to insiders, asked the NASA team to investigate the object more closely, but this episode was not included in official reports. This incident later became the basis for many theories. Some believe that the astronauts found debris of extraterrestrial origin, perhaps even remnants of technologies that were here before our presence. In 1995, several testimonies emerged from former NASA employees who claimed that some of the materials from the Apollo mission had been classified. One such testimony was that the astronauts brought back to Earth unknown artifacts that later fell into the hands of the government. Another interesting fact is that in 1971, during the Apollo 15 mission, astronauts reported a strange object moving at a high altitude above the lunar surface. The sighting left many questions. Some believe it was a spacecraft of another origin, possibly extraterrestrial. NASA explained it as an ordinary optical illusion or glare from the lunar surface, but many doubt this simple explanation. In 2024, new evidence emerged that added fuel to the fire of this theory. One of the former engineers who worked on the Apollo program admitted in an interview that several photographs taken during the mission were deliberately hidden or altered before publication. He claimed that some of these photos showed strange objects, some structures or mechanisms that could not be explained by natural processes. According to him, these objects could have been remnants of alien technology found on the moon, but NASA management decided not to publish these images for fear of public reaction. Some space researchers suggest that these findings could be part of a larger space exploration program that the general public is unaware of. According to this theory, governments around the world are cooperating in researching and using the extraterrestrial technologies found on the moon. But this information is kept secret so as not to cause panic or political repercussions. Another mysterious story is related to the Apollo 12 mission. The astronauts who visited the moon in 1969 reported strange signals they received while on the surface. Initially, these signals were attributed to technical failures in communication equipment, but later it turned out that they were of distant origin. Some researchers suggest that these signals could have been the result of interaction with unknown technologies or even with artificial objects on the moon. The more researchers delve into the stories of lunar missions, the more questions arise about what the astronauts actually found. Could they have encountered extraterrestrial technology? And is the moon really an empty satellite, or does it hide much more than we know? The evidence is not yet sufficient to give a definitive answer. However, a growing body of evidence and theories suggests that the Apollo missions may have opened the door to truths that are still waiting to be discovered. And although NASA continues to maintain its official position on the scientific nature of the missions, many believe that the astronauts could have found something that would forever change our understanding of the universe. Whether it's extraterrestrial technology or traces of ancient civilizations, the moon remains a source of mystery, and each new theory only increases the desire to find out the truth about our silent neighbor in space.